Hey, how's it going, guys? I think we're going. I think we're a minute early, but that's okay. I think we're on the dot now. All right. Welcome on in. So I want to get storage for the quarry, but actually I kind of want to do a couple things here. One of those things is I want to look at getting this to be infinite, but I think the problem with that is we probably need to look at some sort of renewable source and a resource of power. And I'm thinking like low voltage, solar panels, or geothermal generators. And of course, I'll have to look up crafting recipes. But yes, hey, how you doing, AZ? I hope you're doing well. And actually, we're out of coal over there, so I'm actually not even gonna walk over there right now. I want to get a couple chests and stuff figured out for that. That's kind of why the episode title's a little funny. But we need to do that. I just need to clear up my inventory a little bit here. And I think we need to go mining. I genuinely think it's probably a good idea rather than just going and EMCing a whole bunch of stuff. Just go mining, get some of that stuff, and hope that we can actually get some diamonds. I'm actually going to... Yeah, we'll throw this in here. That's fine. What I should look at is probably getting an enchanting table. Isn't that in this version? Yes, enchanting table. That might not be a bad option. So a little bit of an update. Yeah. A little bit of an update since last live stream. I've been working more on the Tekkit Classic revamped mod pack, and I think that's the name I'm gonna go with. Trademark, PM, all that jazz. And the reason I'm gonna call it that is because I'm gonna try and keep it as close to the original as possible. I know there's a little bit of additions that I'm gonna do with it, but they are going to be in the style of it, not like adding AE2, right? Oh yeah, I forgot about that. You have to get 30 levels. That's gonna be the problem. But I'm gonna try the style and the idea, but also add some things where players can do storage networks, like the simple storage network or integrated dynamics. Or what is it called? Integrated crafting, all of that stuff. I think that's kind of the maximum point I would ever try to go with something like that, because I think adding AE2, you're too far gone. For 1.12. Because 1.12 is the last version Buildcraft has been updated. No, not Buildcraft. Maybe? Yeah. Buildcraft has been updated too. So I wouldn't go past that version. And the biggest thing with that is there's one out there. I gotta remember the name. Hold on. There's a pack out there. I think it's called Tekkit Classic Reloaded. And they... it's Tekkit Classic Reloaded. But the thing is they updated this to 1.19 and took out... Let's see. Yeah, they took out Buildcraft because most items are replaced by IC2 Classic. And the thing, they took out Buildcraft. Like, what? Fundamentally, no. Like, I think... isn't there... Because my thought with that, though, is in IC2 Classic, and one reason I'm not going to use IC2 Classic is because they add a way to do ore doubling and tripling, and I think something else like that. Sorry, I tried to take some water and then burped during it. Oh, goodness. But yeah. So IC2 Classic adds way too much. So I'm actually sticking with IC2 just normal. No, I think it was the ore washer, but I didn't even know because I didn't download it and actually play with it. I looked at the wiki and everything it added, and it just adds way too much. So the only mods that I'm not able to get as of right now are and I've got a list over here, so that's why I'm saying, let's see. There was the modular force field system, which has not been updated to that version. It had been updated past that version though. And then tube stuff in this version, yes, because you actually have a mod called nuclear control. So yeah, you have the nuclear reactors and everything, and then you've got like the temperature. What is it called? I know there's a handful of things in here from nuclear control. IC2 nuclear control was the mod's name back this day. I think there is a version of it for 1.12 called energy control. So there's some good stuff. Yeah, but I did a whole bunch of research looking into if those mods from the original still exist, if they have continued development. The modular force field system is going to be a problem. I would love to keep it, but the biggest issue you have is there is no way to get there's no way to get that mod for 1.12. And so I was thinking like RF tools, if you just stripped that mod down and you just had the force field system, technically could that work? But the problem with that though, of course, is you need RF. And so that's the one problem I'm noticing is RF is going to be needed. Yeah, that may be an option. It really depends on what mods I find, because there's also some other things that I'm doing that are going to make this pack unique. And I guess I'll say it. There are no villager trading. I've enabled that. I found a mod that disables that for 1.12. So that's kind of why I'm hesitant to go back a version, because the mods don't exist in 1.7. So it's kind of like I would love to do that, but also 1.7 you start getting to that point where Java has to be backdated, and that's also an issue. So 1.12 is probably as far back as I will go willingly. So, but yeah, so no villager trading. I'm gonna look through the structure list that existed in 1.2.5 and remove all structures that are current. So I'm gonna backdate the world gen a little bit. Of course, it's gonna be 1.12 world gen, which isn't too different, but yeah, that is going to be one of the bigger things, is making sure I make the world feel similar, probably not the exact same as this. There's going to be, of course, some changes that are going to be noticeable, but witches' huts, things like that that have been added after the fact, are going to be gone. Yeah, I'm going to try and make it just purely as Tekkit Classic as possible. And that may take some items away from players, right? That may take away some farms that players like to build in modern day. But the thing is I think that giving players a couple more options, like Industrial Foregoing, which I think I'm going to add to the pack. I haven't made a decision on that. And that mod adds its own generators and everything of that sort. And I think, well, actually I have to look at that because I don't know if 1.12 added that. But I know they had their own power cables, if I'm not mistaken. Goodness gracious. But yeah, so I think there's going to be a lot of differences from some of the packs that are out there. And, like, because some of them, I think the one I found that Tekkit Classic reloaded. The biggest problem, of course, is they went and they took out mods that they thought weren't good. You know, like, hey, this is out of date. And it's just like, cool, but like, that's kind of the point. Forestry, I'm not sure. Because I'm going to try and stick to as little world gen as possible. Because this pack didn't have it besides the volcanoes. So that may be something where I add config to do like just like recommend mods that people could install. Somebody was saying that I could do that. That's not a bad option. Definitely not. Why is there sand? Did I do this? I think I did this with the transmutation and all that stuff. But yeah, there's a lot of questions and things. Because like AE2, I definitely can think people could add that themselves if they wanted to, or refine storage. Because at the end of the day, mod packs are meant to, be enjoyed. And if you enjoy it with AE2, fantastic. But I think adding like the simple storage networks and stuff may, have some people up in a tizzy, because that's what I saw with several of the Tekkit Classic remakes and all of that. There's a lot of people saying they didn't get close enough to the original. And of course, if you're going to name yourself Tekkit Classic, yeah, I think they do, if I'm not mistaken. I might be wrong, but maybe it's the nodes. Hold on. I thought there was cables, or is it like a node system? It might be a node system. I know there's some way. Yes, Project E for equivalent exchange, because that's a no-brainer. You've got to have it. And part of me was thinking of doing NEI because it is on 1.12, but then I was thinking, man, NEI has no add-ons and compatibility with a lot of things, even with that version. And so I definitely was just like, no, JEI. And actually, I'm installing HEI, I do believe is what it's called, which is a JEI alternative that was a little bit smoother for 1.12 running. So that was something I was looking at too. Okay, I've got to be right back. Do I not have that button anymore? Okay, I don't have that button. Here. All right, I'm back. To answer your question, AZ, JEI is, but HEI is actually a fork of JEI that actually has some like optimization done to it. So 1.12 modding just kind of is a little bit better for that. You know, I don't know too much about it. I tested it. It worked just like JEI, basically 1-to-1. It was faster overall from what I saw. So definitely something to look at. Just called HEI. I've never heard of it before until I was doing research. And yeah, so it's definitely a thing, and it's pretty cool. Not gonna lie, not gonna lie. Yeah, we back. Hey, how you doing, James? Happy Friday. Just talking about the Tekkit Classic remake pack that I'm making. And before I left is what I was talking about, and then I had to run out of my office for a second there. But yeah, so it is a thingy. Definitely is a thingy. And it looks like it works with all the add-ons and everything. So yeah, honestly. And I know there is I gotta find it. Hold on. There is like a 1.12 version of Sophisticated Backpack. I think it's like Backpack's Legacy or something. What is that called? I don't think it was added to Sophisticated Backpacks itself. I think somebody went and actually ported it back to 1.12. Let's see if I can find that real quick. Don't know why, I just thought of this. Go to Files, all game versions. So that definitely is not added to the normal one. Retro Sophisticated Backpacks. That is what it's called. So if you need a 1.12 backpack mod, it's not made by the same mod author. I don't even know if it's like actually ported. I don't know if it was ported, forked, or anything. But it's made by Clean Room MC, which is the people who did the HEI stuff, by the way. So that's pretty cool. See, I think it is. Oh, my pickaxe broke. Crap. I can't remember what they're called, though. Genuinely, it's irritating me. And most things don't have any information on it. Oh, yeah. Okay. XY Craft is not in Tekkit Classic. I don't even think it existed back then. And that is another thing I'm looking at, is going to add a lot of the old textures back. Just like make them default. Just going to throw that into it so it's like forced. because I think that's going to definitely add a little bit of flair. I want to try and make it feel like you're in 1.2.5 playing Tekkit Classic as much as humanly possible. Of course, things like the offhand, that's not going to happen. You know, the villagers, I'm going to make them useless again. I'm going to work on getting the structures removed. I mean, it's going to be as close as possible to the last version of Tekkit Classic. We've got Bulkin's weapon mod in there. We've got we just got a whole bunch of goodies. Yes, I'm gonna add as much of the original as I can with textures. Gravel, sugar cane. I'm gonna see what I can find. There's got to be a legacy pack out there already because I want to give credit to people who are actually like good at this, like making resource packs and stuff, because I'm awful at it. I can do it, I'm just awful. But yeah. And I'm not really sold if I want to do Industrial Foregoing yet. I think this pack could really use a way to make farms, whether that be crop farms or actual mob farms. I personally don't think mob farms are that I think they're a little too far of a stretch, while tree farms and block breakers and stuff may not be, but I don't know. It really depends. I feel like the flow would be interrupted if you do something like that. It's going to be a thing. And I know Project E, I'm going to go through that, and I'm going to strip down a lot of the stuff they've added over the years. So that way it's back to like Project E equivalent to EE2. See that? You might be piquing my interest there. And I think that ran off of Buildcraft's energy, didn't it? I think back in this day it was MJ, but I know it had its own generators. At least that's what I remember. Because that was one thing. I'll just re-mention this, that Tekkit Classic reworked or whatever, they did not even add power converters. That is such a strange thing to me, because this was something that was in here as like a staple mod, and I think that it's kind of crazy that you don't have like a fundamental thing when there's actually a mod called energy converters, which is inspired by power converters. It's not a one-to-one, but it's close enough and configurable, and that is beautiful. Yeah, because they had the canvas bags, didn't they? Isn't that the one? I think that's what Forestry had. And I think giving more options for storage is a good idea. The alchemical bags are cool and all, but I would love to have a earlier game a bag. Because the biggest thing with the alchemical bag is, of course, the repair talisman. That is one of the best things about it. But if you're not really needing that, or you're wanting something earlier, the canvas bags definitely are okay. And I'm still on the fence about adding the Tinker's Construct. I'm still thinking about it. I think it's a good idea, but I think it's going to add a little too much. But it's also not really... I'm trying to, like, prevent adding a whole bunch of new power systems and stuff. So, you know. Oh, is that the one? Yeah, because I know what you're talking about then. It's just been a minute since I've seen forestry bags. What mod added the canvas bags? I think there was a mod that I was looking at that adds canvas bags into it. They're maybe in this version as well. No, they're not. Okay. And I think that's the other thing, is there's going to be a lot of stuff in Red Power, but not in this version of Red Power. Not in this version. There's a lot of things that mods have added after this version, which I'm not going to touch. Like, genuinely, if it's in the mod, I'm going to leave it be. As much as possible. Like, Industrial Craft 2, Buildcraft, anything that's been added after the fact, it's being kept. But if it's a mod that I want to force it back into the niche of like, hey, this is for IC2 compact solars, I want to make sure there's nothing that's like out of the ordinary, and it still does kind of what the old mod needed to do. Because some of that stuff is a little odd, and some of the mods for 1.12 weren't really supported that well for IC2 in particular, because IC2 Classic exists. So I'm trying to find a way around that. That was something I had to navigate through, and that was a headache and a half. But I did find a mod that I think fit the scope of what I was looking for, and definitely kept its patches and everything up for a long time. So I feel like I'm comfortable with it. I will not. But the funny thing is that you mentioned Tech Reborn. I was tempted to add that just for shits and giggles, because I have IC2. I was thinking, man, I should really just screw with people. Put Tech Reborn in here, call it a day, see what happens. Honestly, I think they're so similar. There's a lot of overlap. There's no real point in doing that. But I don't think Tech Reborn and IC2 power systems are compatible. I think they can, but I'm not even sure. I just know it runs on newer versions of Java compared to 1.2.5 and 1.7. Yeah, because I don't even know what version of Java I'm running. Hold on. Trying to run... What's that command? I'm running Java 17. Oh dear lord, I need I need to run a new JDK installation. Goodness gracious, I'm behind. So yeah, 1.12 requires Java 8 and higher. Yeah, it's like Java. People are saying Java 16 for 1.7 and above. So who knows? And that's another thing. That you brought up, like storage mods. I was thinking of adding like functional storage and stuff like that. I'm not 100% sure if I'm sold. That's my problem, is I'm really just trying to limit the amount of things that I'm like, ooh, I want to add this. Ooh, I want to add this. Because while I really want to, I really don't want to pull it too far. That's the problem. And then again, I may be like just overthinking it, right? I know I am going to add integrated dynamics. I don't think I mentioned that one yet. Integrated dynamics and integrated tunnels. That just adds a lot more functionality and logic into people's builds. You know, things like that. Making sure your systems are running peak shape. You know, checking if a chest is full to prevent your redstone engines from running overtime, or your wooden engines running overtime. Depending on which... Is it a redstone engine in this version? And I think they may have changed it to wood engine at some point, but I can't remember if that's correct or not. But yeah, like, I want to add some things that I feel like would utterly change your overall play, because now you can add Project Red, which is the red power replacement, and you could add integrated dynamics, and you can create a more automated system with tubes and buildcraft pipes and all of that stuff, and add a little bit more redstone control overall in your world, because you didn't really have anything like that in this version. You, of course, had something that was smart enough to say, hey, this chest is full, I can't send anything, but you didn't really have anything saying, hey, this chest is full, stop everything. So... Yeah, I know for this Tekkit Classic, this is running on Java 7. I think is what I settled on, because I had to backdate Java and get an older installation in here. And of course, there's the patch, the log4j patch mod that I added in here as well. You know, even though I'm not online, I think it's just a good thing to know and to have. So that's definitely awesome. Another thing, I'm just gonna kind of like keep talking about this Tekkit Classic mod pack that I'm working on. I don't know why, but that's kind of just a topic I'm enjoying. I am adding NEI overlays, the stuff that's not in this version, sadly, because it's old. But light overlays, chunk boundaries, all of that fun stuff, that will be added because that is just quality of life. Make your life easier to see light levels. Because of course we don't have that in this version. I don't think I ever saw anything. Open sensor net. I have no idea what that is. Sort inventories, force load chunks. Is that F12 in this version? Railcraft Aura, Anchor Aura. So I don't think it was in this version. So the funny thing is, mine are actually F9 and F10. My F9 pauses recording, F10 starts it. So all of these F9s, I can't use them. Not like I matter, but it matters to me. But yeah, that's just something to think about. I know there's, so just like going off the mod list I have next to me, there are some things like computer craft. I actually have carried over open computers rather than computer craft because there are mods that are like OC sens or the CC sensors in this pack that has not been really carried over in any way. So OC computers, open computers had a variation of the sensor, so I just went with OC sensor, open computers, and any of the other add-ons that I can think of. I'll probably add, if we have anything like advanced peripherals, kind of just make computer craft a little bit stronger. You know, things of that sort. Open computers was like not really developed that long, but it was developed for 1.12 very beginning. I don't know how bare bones it is, so I hope it's on par, but I honestly have no idea. The energy control has ability to work with open computers. Yeah, open blocks, that is actually on 1.12, which I kind of forgot that was on 1.12. Same thing with like extra utilities. Those mods I think would be really fun to mess with. My biggest problem, like, definitely sticking to nostalgia and keeping flight within EE2 or Project E. But the biggest difference, of course, is you're going to have to use EMC versus a power grid. So there's definitely some options where we could look at adding extra utilities because it's an independent power mod. We can just get rid of the generators if the mod will let me without installing the RF mod, the Redstone Flux mod, which is the biggest thing I'm trying to avoid right now. So, yeah, some good stuff. I don't know. I think there's a lot of, like, hold on. I want to look at something real quick. I'm gonna, like, want to go to, like, Curse Forge real quick and just look at something. The Tekkit Classic mod packs that exist. So I only looked at, like, one, and I saw how much they kind of just messed with it. Because the most downloaded one, by the way, is that Tekkit Classic Reloaded. I don't know if there's one on Modernth. That's another thing, is the 1.12 and like 1.12 and above, you kind of had things pushed off into Modernth space rather than Curse Forge, which is kind of interesting. Thermal expansion is for 1.12, but not 1.2.5. Trying to find... I forgot how to navigate Modernth. It's been a minute. So you've got a couple versions over on Modernth that are Tekkit Classic kind of experience. AI generated thumbnails, beautiful. I love it. I really hate how that's becoming a thing. This has got to be garbage. Like I'm not even gonna try. I'm not even gonna put the name out here. But this is like 1.21.1 of Fabric, but it's a Tekkit Classic Revival. What? Like, you can't even put that in the same phrase. But yeah, you've got like a handful of them on CurseForge that are 1.12 and sticking to 1.12 because Buildcraft. There's one that I see that's like 1.16. Yeah, I mean, that's definitely what I'm seeing is there's just not a lot of stuff. And maybe it's because Tekkit Classic isn't as well known as it used to be. Tekkit is now like the more modern thing. These people went nuts. They added the Aether and Aether 1 and 2. How does that even work? How do you add the Aether 1 and 2 to a mod pack? Aren't they the same portal? Added Blood Magic and Mechanism. Dear Lord. Okay, so I went to a conference a few weeks ago about AI, like all of it. You know, these like multi-million-dollar companies speaking and how they're using AI to improve their workflow. And I'm just like, yeah, you mean you're gonna get rid of the employees after a little while, right? Man, AI is not something I want to deal with. Of course, I'm in the field of IT, so I get to hear about it a lot. Man, like reading some of the descriptions on this are just like mind-boggling to me because like this one says this pack can be edited, used in media creation, etc. without my permission. And it's like, dude, you didn't make the mod. Like that's the biggest thing. Yeah. I think that's the thing with mod pack development, and I'm going to be in general because I've done this. I did this with the step back, which you guys you may not even know what the hell I'm talking about. I made a mod pack. I did a few episodes. It was for like 1.12. It was called a step back. It was poorly developed. It was rushed. It was awful. I did a few episodes, and like I didn't really do a whole lot of explaining on the description. But it's like I think I've learned enough now that I need to basically break down the mods in the pack at least and be like, hey, we've also done X, Y, and Z to make it unique, and then actually come up with the logo. Of course, Tekkit Classic people are taking the old Tekkit Classic logo and reusing it, which is still pretty scummy because, of course, it's not your intellectual property. Blah blah blah, copyright. My idea is to get a few textures and just kind of silhouette them, like the Buildcraft wrench and things like that, to just kind of silhouette them and make them, you know, notable, but also kind of edit them to where they're not stealing it, I guess you could say. Um, and kind of that kind of thing, because that's what Tekkit Classic did. Is they kind of took the idea of the wrenches inside the pack and put them as their logo, and kind of just stick with that idea. But yeah, I'm just like looking at these Tekkit Classic things, and honestly, I see why they don't have a lot of installs. I don't know why the Tekkit Classic Reloaded has so many installs. It looks like it has a solid description though, mod list, um, everything of that sort. My biggest problem, of course, is they added, as of this year, they introduced the 1.19.2 version, took out Buildcraft, and basically made this entire pack useless, in my opinion. Um, Yeah, it's just like buildcraft is such a fundamental part, and you take it out and you call yourself reloaded. It just hurts me. I don't know why that hurts me so much. But they also like, I think that's another thing. I'm gonna keep going on this, and I'll be done after this. But they also have in this pack, they have Wireless Redstone by Razok, which I've messed with that mod. It's a fantastic mod, but they replaced the Chicken Bones Wireless Redstone. Thing is Chicken Bones Wireless Redstone still exists, but they just chose not to use it. And it's just like, honestly, I don't know why you would do that. I understand there may be some things that are better with it, but it's just like, dude, just you've got it written for you. Just use it. Actually, the Chicken Bones Wireless Redstone is only for 1.12. So the reason they're not using it now, of course, is because they updated to 1.19, and that introduces a whole lot of stupid things. So trying to see if I could find that one. I'm losing it. Yeah, because the wireless redstone mod is for modern versions, it looks like. Maybe it was in 1.12. It was in 1.12. 1.12.2. So, I don't know. There are some things that I won't take liberties on, but there may be some things where I just like, hey, here's an additional mod. Alright, back to what we were doing. And man, looking through a lot of the mods and stuff, I was looking at like Railcraft and stuff it added, and like the amount of drama that the Railcraft mod author has been in because of the fact that he like put certain things behind Patreon paywalls. Never even knew that. Never heard of that. Yeah. I think the thing is though, is for like 1.21.1, modern industrialization isn't even on that version. So what mods are they using? Of course, I'm not going to go and try and look because there's no mod list, first off, which is a big stupid thing. But yeah, like I genuinely Tech Reborn, maybe? Tech Reborn. That's the only mod I can think of that's close to that, but is that even out for 1.21? Tech Reborn. Let's see. Files, game version. It's out for 1.21.5. So it's actually out. So that's probably what they used for IC2. How the hell they did Buildcraft, I've got no idea. It's like, I don't like dogging on fabric mods. I think there's a lot of fantastic fabric mods, but I think that those mod authors are missing a lot of downloads because they are on fabric, especially with like modern industrialization switching over, which was probably the best tech mod they had. Best like pipe system. Tech Reborn, of course, is just basically a recreation of IC2. And when you have the competition between Industrial Revolution and the Tech Reborn mod, Tech Reborn wins. Like, Industrial Revolution was not a good mod. I think it's still being updated. My opinion, it just tries to do too many things, copy too many different tech mods, and it fails because it's not going all in one direction. And the direction it kind of went in with like the heat and all of that is cool and unique, but it sucks. Like, especially if you're trying to play a tech mod and you have this really cool idea, but then you have this other tech mod that has heat requirement, you're gonna go for the other mod that doesn't require that. Because that's what I did. I went for Tech Reborn over that mod. I remember that. That was Fabric 6. I just did not care for Industrial Revolution. Like, cool, you've got a fancy armor. I don't care. Armor's not what's gonna draw me into your mod. Oh, also, like, Matmos. That mod has been discontinued forever ago, so I just added a whole bunch of sound mods just to irritate the crap out of people. You know? I think it's also funny. In this version, Matmos was so strangely modded, or strangely coded, that if you turn on Matmos and you pause your game, Matmos still is here audible, which is interesting. That's pretty funny, honestly. You know, I think that's going to be the one downside that I do keep seeing is the split between where mods are uploaded. Because you have a lot of them that are uploaded on CurseForge and a lot that are uploaded on Modrinth. And so you've got some mods that you wish you could use for modern packs, but most of those mod authors have switched to Modrinth and or CurseForge. And it's just like, cool, now I can't actually make a pack on one platform. It's kind of one of the strange things you don't think about. Like Tekkit, the Technic launcher bundled mods together. You didn't have to download them. You just download the entire zip file. And then that would unzip and, you know, uncompress and, you know, become playable. But like CurseForge, they download all the mods from the central server, and that becomes the issue of, hey, if you wanted a mod from Modrinth, good luck. Yeah. I'm glad I'm doing it on 1.12, that pack on 1.12, because I don't have to worry about that. That's one thing, like, if I have to make a pack, I'm going to make it to where ores drop normally. Like, just straight up irritate everybody. Ores drop normally compared to the older versions, because I don't like the chunks, in all honesty. I've never really cared for that idea. Especially with, like, copper. Like, copper is just stupid. This is my favorite copper right here. Look at this. Look at the beauty of this copper. See this? This is copper. This is my copper. Make a political post. Hashtag not my copper. That's terrible. I don't know what I'm going on about, honestly, at this point. There's a hole in my ore. Sorry, you said peanut butter ore. That's the first thing I thought of. Oh, PG-13. PG-13. Need a parent to watch this. We may get to storage one of these days, by the way. Yeah, and I understand, like, I don't really care what mod loader or pack or, you know, mod launcher or whatever Minecraft launcher anybody uses. It's just like, I think the thing is I do enjoy the fact that CurseForge has a version of their mod launcher or their game launcher that is, what is it called? That is, holy cow, this is tungsten? How many pieces of tungsten I just got? That's a lot of EMC. Look at this. 16,000 per, man. The most useful ore in red power, because it does nothing. But yeah, they have like their own standalone version of the CurseForge launcher, which not a lot of people know about. If you don't know about that, that is a thing. You can get it without Overwolf and all of that crap, which is really nice. I don't actually have that installed. I know about it. I just kind of forgot about it for a while, and then I was like, you know what, that requires effort. And so I still have the Overwolf version, but it's a thing. Definitely some good stuff. Okay, I'm going to go back up to the surface here. I'm going to throw my pickaxe and everything in here. I'm going to grab my sword out so that can repair. Basically. Because that's the thing, is you don't have a lot of mod packs on Modernth compared to the CurseForge launcher. If you do not know that, you can actually get the CurseForge launcher without Overwolf, which is their like parent company or whatever. Yeah, and I know Modernth technically has support for the Prism launcher as well, while CurseForge's is kind of meh. I know that, of course, now like the FTB launcher and Prism work again with CurseForge stuff. That was like a whole debacle, and then they recently took that back, which is fantastic. But yeah, I think that's the thing, is it's cool and all in concept to do mods on Modernth because people do make more money and yada yada yada. But the issue becomes that you're not really going to make a whole lot because you know mod packs are going to be on CurseForge. Like 90% of them. Until like I would say you get mod packs like all mods 9 or 10 or whatever the latest version is on your pack, you're probably wasting your time. Let's grab that tungsten ore. Let's burn this up. And let's grab some diamonds. Some diamonds. Not a whole lot of diamonds, but still some diamonds. How are we doing over here? Not that great. So I figured out about this. I didn't actually know what this was until I was doing some research on what mods to replace this with. And chicken chunks is actually the answer to that. You replace it with chicken chunks. And now the reason you replace it with chicken chunks is because it's not a normal chunk loader, which is kind of interesting to know. Well, yes and no. Because the problem with CurseForge that I see is people have had their mods on there for so long, and that becomes the issue, where you have a lot of people that just don't really care as long as their mods are making money. Because I don't think... Let's see, because I don't remember if Modernth has things like JEI. Yeah, so they have things like JEI. I mean, it's honestly probably the fact that a lot of people just don't add... I mean, let's see, Mechanism? Mechanism's on here. Thermal Expansion's even on here. I'm kind of surprised by that. But honestly, because I thought there wasn't a lot of the mods that are over on CurseForge are on here, but I know like things like Sodium are on here. It looks like mods maybe like Controller are on here. Let's see. Or Controlling are on here, actually. Okay. So there's definitely some mods on here that I honestly didn't think they were on here. But I know the mods that I was looking for specifically for like Tekkit, of like Tekkit Classic mods like Buildcraft IC2, a lot of them weren't on Modernth because of course they were 1.12. That was kind of when Modernth didn't even exist, right? Like that's the other thing is CurseForge has such a monopoly mostly because they're old. They're the OG like I guess I wouldn't say the OG because right the Minecraft forums is OG. Those were the days, viruses included. Yeah, yeah, because that's the thing is you could go and you could look and you could see if it's on there, but the thing is if it's not, you're not gonna have people going over to Modernth. Like even if you say, hey, there's a little bit more money in here for you, there's no like penalty. Like genuinely, there's no penalty. Like my mods, I've never ported them over to Modernth, mostly because they are also stingier. Like you have to be detailed, you have to include screenshots. Like it's definitely, definitely a little bit stricter over on Modernth, which I don't blame them, especially if they're making money off of it, all of that stuff. Like I think they should force the idea that you need to be doing this properly and all of that. Yeah, and that's another thing with Modernth. Archives. The Modernth archives, that is still beautiful. Yes, Minecraft Forums is still up, actually. I don't know if it's active in any capacity, but it still exists. It still exists, and that's crazy to me. Crazy, crazy. We're gonna get this guy smelting up. Yeah, I don't know. There's a lot of good stuff out there, though, that Modernth has done over CurseForge. The archive stuff for older versions, that's one way I was able to pull some of the mods I did for this. Whenever I, added the Log4j, had the ability to add a couple more mods. It's because the Modernth stuff, I have the ability to do that. Honestly, I think Modernth's whole layout is better. And I think the other thing is Modernth was developed by like I think it was either one guy or a very small team in the very beginning. Like it's a small company. As long as they don't sell out to a capitalist firm or to a company like Overwolf, I think they will be better. I know server hosting is going to be a thing that they're working towards. I saw that information pop up a while ago now, because I kept up with them ever since they started Modernth. I think it's at a place to recommend Modernth more than CurseForge, in all honesty. But it's also the fact that I think Modernth is safer in a lot of aspects because of the fact that they have such a stricter policy. And also the fact that they're not baked in controversy like the CurseForge is. Is this the center? This is the center of the room. Look at this. Look at this. It's a chunk loader that can do unlimited chunks, which is kind of crazy. But yeah, you can set the area and everything. And so I could say 3x3 or 9x9 or 1x1. So I could say this, the 3x3, and that's going to chunk load my base and anything that I need over here. Pretty cool. And it's actually really relatively cheap as well. So that's actually pretty cool as well. Good night, AZ. I hope you have a good sleep. Okay, let's get to building some chests. How do I do that again? Hold on. I got a thrink. Got a thrink? Goodness gracious, I can't even English. I have to build a whole chest just for cobblestone, I think. Gonna put that. Almost did it. Almost broke it with the pickaxe for some reason. Chests just don't agree with me. Oh, there it goes. Just decided to take a second. I don't know, but I am hoping that the Tekkit Classic revamped pack that I'm working on does well. I definitely will probably stop playing this to play that. Just do some live streams on it, kind of cover it. Maybe do some development type of streams on it, because I think that sounds like a fun idea. I know it's kind of more boring, but testing it, making sure things are working the way that they need to be, making sure, of course, gears and things of that sort are the way they need to be, because that is something that needs to be considered. I don't remember what pipes I used. I'll have to look. What else do I got in this bag? Copper, sapphires. Put this back in there for now. Yeah. Yeah, and I was gonna do it this week, but honestly, I haven't felt like actually trying to do any development on it. I did it last week, kind of did it for a few days, and then after I got the mod list kind of figured out, I'm just kind of letting it sit for a little bit to think about what else I want to do with it. If I want to add stuff that would be considered blasphemy by adding mods that really weren't in that version. Not 100% sure. Honestly, there's a lot left open to seeing what may come in the future. So I think we're going to just do wooden chests, do double chest for now. I know this won't be enough, but I need to go chop some trees. I need to go do... Actually, you know what? Let's do more. Let's do a double set. So 16, so that way we'll have full 8 double chests. Grab some gold pipes. Grab some... I think some cobblestone. That should be fine. Actually, let's go stone since we have more of those. And if I do find a mod that adds, you know, just quality of life, I'm definitely going to look at adding that. That is something that I think will just overall make the experience better. You don't have a lot of mods in this version that are quality of life. You know, the top one, the one that's saying marble brick, that is a very nice quality of life, which wasn't originally in Tekkit Classic, but I think it adds a lot for new players, people that want to just get in here. I know, like, Project E adding, like, FTB teams that'll allow for, like, claim chunks and stuff. There are things that add, like, Project E, EMC share with FTB teams as well. Yes, this pack has iron chest. Yes, but I don't have enough iron. And I don't have enough smarts to actually bring a redstone pipe down here, but that's okay. So I'm seeing that I need to grab sandstone, cobblestone, and sand. We're doing this by the skin of my neck. That's basically how we're gonna work this whole thing. And the good thing is we don't have granite, we don't have andesite, we don't have diorite, we don't have to worry about a whole bunch of different stone types that screw up our filtering. Chef's kiss. So let's grab the redstone engine that we need. Grab some more logs. Okay. Redstone engine. Because I've genuinely been enjoying this pack, though. Like, I think this pack just... It's not just nostalgia to me. I think it genuinely is a good pack. Like, this pack, I think, set the cornerstone for kind of what mod packs should go for. Because you could really tell that they put some thought into it. Because they didn't add everything, right? They didn't just shove everything together. Like, their idea was for this pack to be technical. Are you talking about the rubber trees out here? Those rubber trees? Is that what you're talking about? Kind of forgot they were there. I don't even... yeah, oil geysers should exist in this version. Because you have refinement and all that. I forgot about that. I'm going to try and add as many oil mods that add oil into the pack, you know? Just so that way we can have 36 different type of oil. No conversion in between. That sounds like a dang nightmare. Oh, that sounds awful. Regrowth. What is regrowth? That's a question I'm going to ask, honestly, because I don't know what that pack is. And maybe I sound uncultured because of that, but I really genuinely don't know. It depends on what version it came out in on. That's the biggest thing with me, is I didn't follow a lot of mod packs early on. Mostly because I just was not around during that time. Like, I wasn't in the modded Minecraft scene as much as I am now. Which is still very light, because I don't really pay attention to a lot of other channels and things. Which I know a lot of people say is kind of like, well, if you're doing this, you should keep up with what other people are doing. And I'm like, excuse me, I barely can keep up with what I'm doing half the time. How am I supposed to do that and content creation? Which is, I think, a skill you're supposed to technically learn with content creation, but, like, I don't know. Because the only mod packs I can think of for 1.7.10 is the, what do you call that? What was that mod? That was, or not mod, it was a mod pack. What was that called? Crash Landing. Like, that was the time that I kind of was in more modded, but not really. Also, I kind of forgot how hard it is to place double chests in the air, apparently. I'm currently looking at regrowth. Yes, it was 1.7.10. Back in January of 2017. When did this pack release? 2015. Man, I feel old. What did this guy go to make? Like, did he add more mod packs? Nah, he kind of just did some, but it wasn't like everything else kind of just flopped. His last pack was in 21, and it had 220 downloads. That sucks. That sucks. Yeah, I think I remember Direwolf touching that at one point, but I don't remember. I mean, that didn't he do that? Didn't he play that pack? If I'm not mistaken. Yes. Man, he did it in 2015. Goodness gracious, man. I still feel old looking at that. Like, that makes me even feel old. Goodness. Okay, let's go grab some coal. Let's get this going. I think 1.7 was kind of that fundamental tipping point of like actually good mod packs. I think that there's a handful nowadays, but there's not as much as there used to be. And it's kind of depressing, but that's honestly that's what I think. And I may be wrong, because I mean there are a lot of packs that come out. There's like the Forever Factory and Mechanical Mastery, and some you could name off the top of your head, like all the mods, 1 through 9 or 1 through 10. Um, Yeah, Direwolf, I haven't watched him in forever. I keep up with what packs he plays. That's the only content creator that I actually keep up with what pack they play, which is very strange sounding. But the reason that is because he was my biggest inspiration, and I genuinely kind of try to copy him sometimes, low key, probably high key because I just said it out loud. But yeah, man, that gold pipe is not pushing these items quick. Is that okay? So if I think the reason might be is because it's right at the end of this wooden pipe. So hold on, or like right at the start. So if I do this, I'm gonna close this off. And also, this is a terrible idea because if these guys do get full, they're just gonna fling coal everywhere. I just now thought of that. That's not a good idea. I need to put something else here. Yeah, after I got all the dye, I was kind of done. Genuinely, like I wasn't joking. Whenever I was like, I got all the dyes, I could be good now. I genuinely felt that way, just because there's not really the creativity just wasn't there. Like I was hoping we could go and we could do different methods of than just rather crafting a stupid plant seed. Man, that bugs me so much. Like I crafted obsidian without like the thing telling me, and it's like that wasn't purple. See, the way I'm gonna do it is I'm just gonna have a jump scare. No, I'm just kidding. Could you imagine? You're peacefully trying to play Tekkit Classic. The loading screen's just like jump scare city. Oh, is that not gonna work either? Aren't gold pipes supposed to like just like but it's not working. It ain't doing its thing. Could you imagine? I feel like that would just be awful. That's how you get people to just hate your pack right there. Oh, okay. I didn't think they did. I don't think they do in this version, but maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I'll go throw a lever out there. I always build levers wrong. Let's go attach it and see. The RL Craft, that's one of those packs that genuinely was another like very good pack. I never personally played it, but I saw how much content came out of that pack in particular, and it's just like honestly, that is, you made it. Okay, it does need redstone signal. You saw the change. Um, you made it when that many people talk about your pack for even this long. Like people still play that pack. Like I think that's insanity. You can't say that about a lot of mod packs. Like even this pack, right? This pack you can't say people play this, forever. Um, I think it would be cool to see somebody play this pack for forever, but the problem is there's just not enough content in the mods itself. You'd basically turn this into a vanilla playthrough with a little bit of tweakage, and that's about it. Oh yeah, we're getting somewhere. I can see stone. Oh, I need to go add dirt to the filter. I'm gonna regret this whenever I actually need dirt, sand, gravel, cobblestone, all of that stuff. But that's okay. I just care about the good stuff. Oh, I forgot that these require like actual physical items. It was this version, like the old school where they didn't have ghost items. Whoopsie. Also, I kind of forgot the industrial craft wrench look like this. What does the build craft wrench look like? I was thinking of that earlier. What does it look like? Oh, it's this one. Okay. Kind of just thinking of logo concepts. Multitasking. I didn't even pick up the dirt. What am I doing? Did I even break a piece of dirt? Honestly, I'm questioning reality right now. Hold on. I know one mod I'm gonna add is comforts. Just straight up comforts. Because I don't that mod's not questionable. That is like my #1 mod, honestly. If you asked what my favorite mods are, I think that would be in the top 10. Genuinely, just because of how fantastic that mod is and how simple that mod is, right? Like no other mod has done it better. That's all good. I broke it. I lost my mind and then I walked away. We're good. We're all good. Speaking of comforts, I think I did a mod spotlight of that mod forever ago. And I was just thinking about that. How many comforts? I haven't looked at that video and like seeing how many views that video has. 5.2 thousand. Dear Lord. I didn't even realize that. Hmm. Yeah, I in my opinion, that is far less superior. Like, just it's not as cool because you can't just right click the ground and pick it up, right? You have the whole backpack interface. And honestly, Traveler's Backpack isn't my favorite in the first place. I think the best backpack mod is probably Sophisticated, but Sophisticated's also too sophisticated. Like, it just adds too much a lot of the time. So Iron Backpacks is where it's at. Gotta go old school. Iron Backpacks. One of the original backpack mods, I do believe. Like, independent backpack mods. Of course, other mods had backpacks and bags and things that were superior. But also, I guess I need to add a redstone signal here, don't I? So I'm going to actually move this lever. To right here. Yeah, and the fact that it has not only a daytime, like, or a nighttime skip, but also a daytime skip, that is also fantastic. Like, genuinely. I think it's a really nifty idea. That definitely would have helped running through Spectrum back in All of Fabric 6 a lot more. Yeah. I still regret that I did not figure out that beforehand. Or well, no, All of Fabric 6 didn't have comforts. That was the coffin. The stupid coffin. Never mind. I'm thinking of a completely different situation. But comforts would have came in very, very handy if that was a thing. Okay. I think on that topic, we are probably going to switch gears and we are going to probably wrap this one up here. It's been about an hour and a half. I know I don't try and keep these too long, but we did get storage for our hole. We got our goal completed. I do want to try next live stream to get into making that quarry system a little bit better with tubes, because of course that hole will sooner or later fill up enough and cause problems. And then also I want to get the EMC generation going, which is going to be using the macerator and the energy condenser to make a loop of blaze rods and blaze powder and blaze rods and blaze powder and back and forth and back and forth and back and forth, which will be infinite EMC, and I won't have to just go over here, pull it out, put it in here, pull it out, put it in here, so on and so forth. So things to look forward to. I think the EMC machine may be closer to our last episode, because I should get close to the Tekkit Classic revamped kind of dev streams. I might do a couple of those, just to see how they go. There may not be a whole lot of Minecraft gameplay, but there will be kind of just figuring things out, maybe tweaking the mod list, things of that sort. Maybe I'll do one of those on a Thursday. Who knows? Because Thursdays Thursdays are iffy if I'll upload, just because sometimes I only get like 2 or 3 videos. And right now, of course, I'm working on modern industrialization and that whole crap show. And yeah, so there may not be a whole lot of episodes next week. Not 100% sure yet, unless I can just cruise through it. But I know I've got plans tomorrow, so I probably won't be able to do that, sadly. But yeah, thank you guys so much for watching. Stay awesome, and I can't wait to see you in the next one. Bye-bye.